This meeting is now live streamed. Hello, everyone. You are here for our monthly chat series, What's the Buzz? And I'm Amy Keenan, your host, and you should know me by now since I've been doing this for a very long time, monthly. I'm very excited to have my guest today. We have Jessica Person from Avalara. She's going to be chatting with me about all things about our workshop series going on this summer. So excited to chat with you, Jessica. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Amy. So excited.
So I'm just going to let, sometimes people come in Zooms periodically, so people on LinkedIn Live don't see that, or YouTube, but the people here on Zoom will see it. So we are broadcasting live from 3 different platforms. And so, yeah, so you probably see us on all 3. So welcome to our What's the Buzz chat series. As I mentioned, we're talking about our summer workshop series. And I just want to give a little background of why I wanted to do this workshop series. It's basically, school's out for a lot of kids and everybody's out of school, but that doesn't mean we can't continue our learning. And maybe it's even better to continue our learning in the summer so we don't have to deal with everything else at home. So I wanted to bring something that was CPE, something that was really educational, informational, great content, get in the weeds on stuff, and just give you all of that information right here. We're going to be doing that in Zoom, of course. And we have 3 different ones that we're doing over the course of the summer. So very excited. And Avalara is going to be doing all 3. So I thought, why not have them on here to talk about what they're going to be talking about at each workshop? Because it is a little different for each one. So that's exciting.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's get into when these are and the ERPs, so everybody knows. So our first one is next week on July 16th, and we're hitting it off with Acumatica. So that's going to be our kickoff workshop. And then we have Dynamics GP in August on the 6th. And then we're wrapping it up with Business Central on September 5th. So those are the ERPs that we'll be focusing on in each of the different workshops.
Just in time for back to school.
Just in time for back to school. And then who knows, maybe we'll bring them back some other time this year or early next year, depending on how this goes. But yeah.
I love it.
So as I mentioned, you can earn CPE, which I think is the biggest thing, right? Because obviously everybody wants to get their CPE credits in. About how the layout's going to go, how the day's going to go. Well, overall, we're focusing on business processes. That's the theme for each of the workshops. And then we are kicking it off with an expert in each ERP for each day, which will start at 11:30 Eastern time. Everybody gets 50 minutes to present. So we have our first one, which is Tim Rodman, which I'm sure everybody in the Acumatica space knows him. If you don't, then you need to know him because he knows a lot about Acumatica. Shout out to Tim if you're out here on LinkedIn or in here in Zoom. So he's going to be talking all about SQL. I know nothing about SQL, so I'm going to leave that to the experts.
Not my area of expertise either.
Me neither. So he'll be kicking it off, talking all about demystifying SQL and helping you with that. So very excited to have him kick off the Acumatica one. And then we have 3 different ISVs following that, each 50 minutes. And so some of the topics are going to be technology to streamline your business operations and improve efficiency, and B2B e-commerce roadmap. And then, of course, we have tax. So I will let Jessica talk about what she's going to be showcasing at the Acumatica workshop.
Absolutely. So I will not be showcasing it. It is not my area of expertise. I'm just a marketing girl, but we will have Connor O'Donnell, who's a very seasoned sales executive on our Acumatica team. And he's going to be talking about all about exemption certificate management. So, a lot of people, they think Avalara, sales tax, but we're so much more than that. And this year we now have an integration with Acumatica for our exemption certificate management solution. So now you can manage your exemption certificates right from within Acumatica and Avalara without having to do any manual uploads or imports. So we're really excited about this new integration. We've recently launched a guide with Acumatica, 5 steps to managing exemption certificate management. So we're going to be talking about that. Connor's going to be walking you through the solution just so you can really understand where you have tax liabilities and where you need to collect those exemption certificates, because just because you don't have to collect sales tax doesn't mean you still don't have compliance obligations. So we really want to make sure that the community understands what their risks are and how we can help.
And that's so important. And, you know,
Absolutely.
being a former Avalarian, I know all about exemption certificates and sales tax, and I know way too much about sales tax. I never thought I would, which I'm
It's
sure
very
you.
tricky. Yeah, way too
It
many
is very
things.
tricky. Like if I didn't work for Avalara, I would not know any of this, and I would be like, hey, I need to learn all this because it is very tricky. It is very convoluted. It's very
Very
in
much
the
so.
weeds, grainy on who gets taxed for what and what, and you know, one person across the street could get taxed differently than you. So it's just like, that's how granular and nitpicky I want to say it gets with tax. And same
Yeah,
thing with exemption certificates like that. I feel like those are often get overlooked, or like, you know, get put in a file cabinet somewhere and then they forget about
exactly.
them and like, oh crap, I'm getting audited and I haven't updated these in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. And what the heck am I supposed to do now? So love that you're
Yeah.
talking
And
about
because it's
exemption
not
certificates.
managed on a daily basis, to your point, you're right, it does get forgotten about. And then those auditors come knocking. And ever since COVID, they
Mhm.
are even more, they're doing even more audits than before with little notice. So it's so important that you're compliant now more than ever.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. So excited about that workshop next week. So next up, we have our Dynamics GP workshop, which I'm also very excited about. GP is near and dear to my heart because actually when I started in the channel, and I'm not going to say when, I started in the Great Plains space, and I was at Fargo way too many times than I thought I ever would be possible in my life, but it was fun. And
Yeah.
so I am excited to bring Amber Bell, who is a new MVP for GP, because as you know, Jessica, they haven't really done
They
MVPs for GP.
haven't.
So Amber
No,
is, well, I mean, if anybody should get that MVP for GP, it's definitely her. So,
absolutely. So
so
for
I'm so
anybody worried
excited.
about GP going away,
We got you covered with our
yeah,
workshop. So
exactly.
excited to have her kick off that workshop. And of course, she's going to dive into the nitty gritty on all things GP. So very excited to have her. And then we're also going to be talking about benchmarking and AP processes, and it's almost like a master class. So Use is putting together this benchmarking master class for their section,
Love
which is really
that.
cool. So they're diving into the weeds on that. Again, it's all about business processes. So each of the workshops are focused on business processes. And then would you like to talk about your topic for the GP space?
Yeah, so for GP, we're going to be talking about understanding tax compliance, excuse me, improving your financial obligate or operations, and really navigating tax regulations and nexus. So, you know, you mentioned how GP is very near and dear to your heart. Avalara, that's where we got our start in 2004. GP was our very first integration. So we're very excited to talk about all of the new updates that we are building for the connector. We're always coming out with more updates. I do a quarterly Microsoft partner webinar where we're talking about all of the updates that we're doing for our connector. So we'll be diving into that a little bit too. But we're also just going to be speaking about how Avalara can help with your business processes. You know, especially when it comes to tax compliance, it's so tricky. Every state is different. And in the US, it's, you know, there's 50 different states, 50 different rules, way more than 50 different rules. So we're going to be diving into each one of those. I have Michelle Talata, who's a very seasoned sales executive on the Microsoft team. She actually used to be a teacher.
Oh,
So this
nice.
workshop series is right up her
Perfect.
alley. And yeah, she's going to do a great job explaining all of the sales tax and nexus woes.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm excited for that workshop, obviously, because it's, you know, GP. And then we just have some great lineup of speakers and ISVs, and it's going to be a great one. So
Yeah.
just so you all know, as we're talking about these workshop series, we will be promoting them. We will be sending the links out so that you can register depending on which ERP you want to focus on. So don't worry about that. When we send out the recording, we'll send the links to the in the email. And then also we'll be posting on LinkedIn, social, everywhere you'll find it. So, and of course, you can always reach out to me. You can reach out to Jessica for the link too.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, Business Central. So we'll be talking all about that on September 5th. And I have another amazing MVP that will be kicking off that workshop, which is Cynthia Preby. So she is going to be talking all about utilization of BC and very excited to have her on here to talk about that. She is a great speaker. You probably have seen her. She's was at DynamicsCon presenting, so she's going to be coming to join us and kick off that workshop. Very excited to have her. We also will be talking about how to maximize your BC investment and optimize business processes. And then we will have Avalara talking about, of course, tax compliance as well.
For
So
BC. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's going to be Michelle again. She'll be talking about much of the same topics as with GP, but really focusing on how the connector works inside of Business Central. We do have some very specific functionality that she'll highlight. We have some new availability that she's going to dive into, but I mean, BC and GP are very similar. So she's going to be talking about all the same topics from an Avalara perspective.
okay, great.
Yeah.
So obviously different ERP, but obviously tax compliance affects all of us, no matter
It
where we
affects all of
live,
us.
no matter what
Yeah,
ERP we use.
exactly.
And then also what we're going to be handing out is we're going to be handing out a worksheet for everybody that does attend. And this worksheet is going to just help you and guide you. And it's going to focus on some key takeaways from everybody that will be presenting. So it'll be a separate sheet for each presenter and what their topic is, as well as actionable insights, questions to consider, and then information to share with your team, to bring back with your team to go over. Because obviously we're talking about business processes from an ERP standpoint, and we're talking about business processes specific to certain areas of your business. And so we want you to be able to go back to your job, to your role, and be able to bring this information and knowledge back and say, hey, do we need to fix this business process that I learned about in this workshop? Or how is this business process going? Do we need to tweak it? Are there questions you can ask your team to find out if they are efficient, if they have optimized these processes? Is it streamlined? Is it automated? So we're really trying to give you that holistic view of these different business processes within the organization, so that way you can go back and knowledgeably talk to whoever you need to talk to about it and see if you need to put some of these solutions. Yes, schedule a demo, put some of these solutions, implement some of these solutions, so that way you can alleviate all the inefficiencies and you can automate and streamline and be compliant. So yeah, that's the whole premise behind these workshops, is just to give you that educational, that holistic view of these different areas of your business and how we can help you, how we can help you recognize those gaps or those holes or things that you can streamline and automate and make it easier, because we're trying to make everybody's job easier. That's our role here, is to make your job, your role, what you do within your organization, what you do day to day, to make it as easy as possible. So yeah, so I'm excited about giving out that worksheet. Obviously you have to attend to get it. If you register and I send out the recording, I will include the worksheet in there as well, because I think you'll obviously want to watch the recordings and have that worksheet to take back with you and chat with your team. And of course, if you want to invite people from your team, anybody can obviously join this. It's Acumatica, it's GP, it's BC partners and end users, because we all think you can all benefit from learning about these different areas to help end users go back to their team, obviously, and streamline and automate, but also help partners educate their clients on all these different areas and get them better informed and give them more education and knowledge around these different business processes of how they can help their clients in these different areas as well. So that's the whole premise behind each of these workshops, and how we want to help users and partners get more knowledge, get more industry specific information, and bring back to the team what they need to.
Sounds great.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, I guess to wrap it all up, if you'd like to learn more, of course, feel free to reach out to me or Jessica. Again, we have our Acumatica one next Tuesday. So yes, a week from today at 11:30 Eastern time. Again, everybody will have 50-ish minutes to present. We'll leave some Q&A at the end for you to be able to ask your questions, because obviously you're hearing from these experts, so you probably will have some questions. If we don't get to answer all of your questions, don't worry. These experts will be able to get back to you afterwards. We will obviously have those questions documented. And then we'll kick it off at 11:30, and then it will be 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, and that's it. Yeah, so we'll wrap it up. It'll end at 3:30. So it's a half a day roughly of workshops. Not too bad.
But worth it. And the CPE credits really is what makes it all worth it.
So you can earn up to 4.
A little bit? Yeah, and just wondering, can you explain a little bit just how for the people attending how the
Sure.
CPE works? How do they make sure that they get those credits after the workshop?
Of course. So to earn CPE, obviously, if you're a person that earns CPE, you know that there's certain criteria that you have to meet to get the CPE credit. So obviously, this has to be 50 minutes or more. It has to be educational, informational. There has to be at least 3 polling questions within that 50 minutes. You are then obviously Zoom tracks your time in the webinar so that we know how long you've been in there. So that way you can earn up to 4 credits, like I had mentioned. And then we'll do a poll question saying, do you need CPE? So you'll just answer that yes or no. And then we have a great system in place where we once after the webinar finishes, we have a system that automatically will email you that certificate within 24 hours, I believe. So yeah, so it's very easy to do. So very excited about that. But yeah, so we just need the answer to your poll question, obviously, to make sure that you get the CPE and the number of credits based on what is logged in Zoom. So
make sure
any
you
other
register
questions
so
you
you
think
can
we
get your
should?
CPE. No, I think that was
Exactly.
great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so we're so excited about the summer workshop series. I hope that you are too, and I hope you register. It will be such a great thing to be able to keep our education going over the summer months. And I don't know about you, Jessica, it's really hot here in Rhode Island.
Yeah. I'm in Michigan,
So
and it's
we want to be in the
cooled
AC.
down a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely warm.
Yeah, so make sure you're in a nice, comfortable AC environment for this, that's for sure.
Yeah, get some iced tea and sit down for some education.
Right. And so they are 15 minutes. Each one is 15 minutes. There's a 10-minute break at the end to give you some time to get some snacks or whatever that you need in between if you don't have any questions. So I did leave a buffer of 10 minutes in between each session. So that way you can take those quick breaks that you need to throughout the day, because we all need to take quick breaks. I know that I do.
Perfect.
I can't
Yeah.
sit at my desk the whole time. I would probably go stir crazy. So it's up to get up and walk. Hey, if you even have a walking pad, like I really want one of
Oh, I
those,
love
Jessica,
that idea. I
where
want
you
one
get
so bad.
stand-up
Yeah.
desk and a walking pad, and then you can walk while you listen. I mean, geez, that's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone right there, learning and exercising at the same time.
It's what everybody should be doing each day.
I know. I need one of those walking pads. So yeah, so make sure that you come and join us again. And of course, share your feedback. If there's topics that you'd like to hear on What's the Buzz, if there's topics you'd like us to present on the ISV Society webinars, podcasts, whatever it may be, we're here to help bring the content to you. And we can't do that unless you show us or tell us or give us some of your feedback. So we would love that. But thank you so much, Jessica, for being here
Thank you
for
so much
our
for
What's the
having me,
Buzz
Amy.
monthly chat series. So excited to have you here. So excited to everyone that joined us, whether you're live or here on Zoom or you watch the recording. Thank you so much. And again, we will get all the links out for all of these workshops to you. So don't worry about that, but we hope you can join us. So thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Amy, so much.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.